everyone, I'm Samantha and I am with Growing Home Southeast. We are a nonprofit serving children and families in South Carolina and Alabama with a multitude of services. This month is actually National Adoption Month, so today I'm here with Nicole, who is our Wendys Wonderful Kids supervisor, and we're just going to talk a little bit about the WWK program and adoption today. So Nicole, if you could just tell me a little bit about yourself and your position.
Well, like Samantha said, my name is Nicole Bowie. I have been an adoption supervisor for the last several years, but previously I worked as a recruiter for the Dave Thomas Foundation for 13 years. So pretty knowledgeable in the program area and how the operation runs. So was very excited when the opportunity came to actually become a supervisor of the program.
That's awesome. So if you could just kind of tell me a little bit about the Wendys Wonderful Kids program, just like a general overview.
So the Wendys Wonderful Kids program is a signature program of the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. And everybody knows Dave Thomas, the famous Wendy's hamburger guy. Everybody knows Dave, but a lot of people don't know that he was adopted out of foster care. And one of the things that he was passionate about was making sure that children had a forever family, particularly the older children and the children that fall through the cracks. You know, everybody wants a baby or a toddler, but they forget about the older children who also need a family. So the foundation focuses more on finding permanency for those children, whether it's through people who are interested in adoption or whether it's reconnecting them with somebody in their biological family or a teacher or somebody that they have a close connection with that may not know they're up for adoption. Those are the kind of things that our recruiters do. Our main focus is to make sure that we exhaust all efforts in trying to find these children permanency.
That's great. So kind of like you mentioned it a little bit, but what is the process that the adoption recruiters go through to match a child with like a prospective adoptive family?
Well, a lot of times, you know, if a family is interested in adopting, especially an older child, our recruiters have profile summaries where they have a picture, a little bit of information about the child that is on their caseload. So they'll usually send those out via email to any interested family. And then if they, you know, say, well, hey, you know, I saw the little photo summary on Katie and, you know, I'm interested, then they would contact the recruiter for further information. So that's how it begins with what we call stranger adoptions, which is families just, you know, in society who are actually interested but don't know the child personally. Now with biological family members and people that the child has made some type of connection with, we do what's called, we're kind of like I call us little detectives, because we do what's called a Seneca search, where we get a list of all the possible paternal and maternal family members, and we go through and literally contact everybody on that list to see if, you know, hey, did you know that little Katie, you know, is up for adoption? Are you interested? Is there somebody in the family that may be interested? And even if it's not adoption, just maybe reconnecting them to their biological family is sometimes an option as well. So that's typically the two main ways. And also, if a child has been in a foster home for a long time, for like, you know, 3+ years, and they have a really good bond with that foster parent, and the foster parent's like, you know, that's my child, you know, they can stay as long as they want, then, you know, we'll emphasize them, you know, that's great, and we understand that, but let's make that official. Let's give them that permanency. You know, it is a huge difference when, you know, a child knows that you actually want them to be a part of that family, that you actually do that work and make that effort to make them a part of that family, because they've suffered so many disappointments. So a lot of them don't believe that permanency is going to happen for them. So it does take a lot of hard work on the part of, you know, the families that are interested and the child as well, because there's going to be that adjustment period. But that's the period where you have to really put in the work and hang in there to make it work.
So once a child is like kind of matched with a prospective family, what does the adoption process look like from there? And like, how long does that generally take?
So excuse me, once they're matched with an actual family, and that happens when the family reads what's called a background summary on the child that's presented by DSS. that goes through and tells all about the child and everything that they know. And once the family says, okay, we understand that and we're ready to proceed, then we start what's called transitional visits. And DSS will usually set these up, but our recruiters do a lot with helping to transport and assist with these transitional visits. And these are visits where they start out maybe, you know, meeting the family for lunch or a couple of hours. You know, it used to be at the park or the zoo, but with COVID, things are a whole lot different. So now a lot of these visits are taking place over like what we're doing with Zoom. But it would start out like that, and then it would slowly transition into a full day visit, then maybe a weekend visit, then, you know, a week visit. And as long as those visits go well, then they would transition into that home with the intention that they're going to adopt. And they usually give it a 3 to 6 months adjustment period before they actually finalize.
Okay. So what advice would you give to a family that might be considering adoption?
My advice to anyone that's considering adoption is, first and foremost, I think it's important to be completely honest about what you're looking for, and not only what you're looking for, what you're willing to accept. And I tell people that because it does no good if you're on a mission to save the world, so to speak, and you're just like, I'm just going to get, you know, as many as I can, but if they're not good fits for you, or you're not a good fit for them, it's not going to work, and you're going to cause more trauma to that child, having them to actually have to re-enter the system if it doesn't work out. So that's my one thing with families is, you know, make sure, you know, this is, you know, a good fit for your family. And we tell the kids that we work with as well to be honest as well. Like, if things aren't going well, don't force it. Because a lot of times kids want permanency so bad that, you know, they tend to, you know, kind of let some things slide. And some things, you know, we know that, you know, typically happens in every family. But, you know, if it's major issues, we definitely encourage both sides to be honest about that. Because, you know, to be honest, we don't always get it right the first time. Sometimes, you know, Katie might not be a good match for the Smiths, but it tends to end up that Katie is a perfect match for the Johnsons, you know, and their family. So sometimes we don't get it right. So that's why we do those transitional visits to see how things are going and see if it's likely to succeed, because we don't want that child to come back in and do more damage to them. So I would definitely tell families to do that and to do their research about the process. There are a lot of adoption myths out there. I would definitely encourage them to do their research and just make sure that it is a family decision. If you have other people involved, husband, kids, even older kids, because this child isn't just coming to be a part of your life, they're coming to be a part of your whole family's life. So just make sure that you understand that, and understand that this child is not going to be like, you know, your child. This child is going to be different, just like everybody else. And I encourage parents to give that adjustment period, to give those kids a chance to understand what permanency is. They've never had it, so they're going to test the waters. They're going to do everything possible to see if you're really going to keep them, because they've been through disappointment so much. So you've got to really stick in there and be patient and let them know that regardless of whatever, I still love you and I want you to be a part of my family. So I definitely think those are important things for families to understand when dealing with adoption.
Yeah, definitely. So just kind of going off of that, what is your favorite part of your job?
I think, well, when I was a recruiter, my absolute favorite part was definitely interacting with the kids. I do actually miss that, but I do get to do that sometimes, you know, when I go on visits with the recruiters. But I think the most rewarding part for me is that now that I'm in this position, I'm able to share my knowledge and experiences with my recruiters, and can kind of, you know, help them avoid some things that maybe didn't work for me, or can kind of give them some advice to go on the right track. not just from a supervisory sense, but from somebody who actually was in the position for a long time. So I think coming with that skill set really was an advantage for the program. And to me, that's probably my favorite part of the job, is being able to share those experiences with them when we're doing staffings.
That makes sense. Well, thank you for joining us today, Nicole. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about Growing Home Southeast, be sure to head to our website, or you can give us a call, and I'll have all of that information linked in the description of this video for you. Be sure to give this video a like and a share if you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.